And we're on. Okay, finally. Wonderful. So, hello, everybody, and a very warm welcome to today's session. And it's almost like I felt like Manish didn't want me to have the session, all the problems that he's giving with the computer. But, anyways, so here we are after a very long time, I think, especially since the Navratris came and all of that. And then we didn't have these regular sessions for some time with my travels. But here we are. So, hello to everyone. Can you enlarge your picture? What? There is
No, it's fine. I think it's maybe with her
Yeah.
computer.
I don't even have an option to enlarge. There is absolutely no way to enlarge. It is always, this is what it is. So I can't do anything to the picture. This is the full screen. What I'm seeing is absolutely the full screen. What you can probably do is go and take a look at YouTube later, and that will help you see it on full screen. So warm welcome. And today's topic being resilience. इतनी मजेदार बात है कि अभी हम we are just being resilient about this webinar, है ना? So let's talk about the word resilience itself. What does resilience convey to us? The word resilience is all about, when you struggle and you lose and you still have the power or find the will within you to come back up, so you fall and then you fail and you still get back up and start running. And then you fall and you fail and you still get back up and start running. And that is the whole idea behind resilience. कि आप संघर्ष में बार बार गिर करके भी और कितनी बार उठ पाते हो और फिर विजयी. सो जो जीता वही सिकंदर के अंदर. और सारी की सारी मूवीज, all of these Hindi movies and everything, whenever you look at the word resilience, it's always about the hero has to struggle and has to struggle, but he's resilient. Hero है तो इसलिए resilient है और बार बार उठता रहता है और बार बार अपने बार बार उठ के खड़ा होता है, कुछ और दोबारा से काम करता है और उसके बाद एंड में हीरोइन मिल जाती है, होगी उसकी विजय. तो दैट्स द होल पॉइंट ऑफ रेजिलियंस. Success at the end of it. Because otherwise, if you were resilient and you never got success, बस आप चल रहा है, आप हर बार उठ के खड़े हो रहे हो, तो उसको क्या उसको जब हम उसके बारे में बात करेंगे तो उसको सिर्फ स्ट्रगल का नाम देंगे कि हाँ, उसके अभी स्ट्रगल के दिन चल रहे हैं, इसलिए पता नहीं है कि एंड में कुछ अच्छा होगा या नहीं होगा, अभी दिन चल रहे हैं स्ट्रगल के. पर अगर स्ट्रगल के एंड में आपको सफलता मिले, इफ यू आर लुकिंग एट सक्सेस at the end of all of that struggle, then that quality of yours is defined as resilience. So now when we look at the word resilience in terms of energy, so for resilience to happen, 2 or 3 things need to happen. One is, of course, that you have to fall, because otherwise पहली बार में ही किया और success मिल गई, so then there is no resilience, it's just success. So you have to fail, you have to fall. That needs to happen for resilience to be seen. Then once you fall, you have to keep struggling and walk through your struggles every day. And you have to glorify your struggles. You have to glorify your struggles, because struggles are something that are coming at you, and you have to win over them. You have to find a way out of them. You have to be the one who is going to win, and the struggles are going to lose. And so what is important for resilience to happen is that you have to fall, you have to struggle, and then at the end of it all, there has to be this piece of victory. So, my own personal life story. And then we always glorify struggle so much. If you look at anyone on the Hindi, Bollywood screen or something, nobody's ever talking about how easy it was for them to get in. They all talk about stories of their struggle. They had to sleep on the platforms, they had to do this, and they become heroes because they were resilient. They become heroes. As we sign into this idea of heroism, as we sign into this idea, the one thing that we are signing up for is, well, struggle. So, as we look into the resilience itself, the idea that struggle is so heroic goes hand to hand with resilience, because each time you fail, each time you fall, you will get back up. And that is an amazing property. That is an amazing property. But for you to exhibit that property, outside things need to happen. So, in my own personal life, you know, constantly things on the outside would keep happening, which would push me down. Constantly things were happening. And as things were happening, I had this stubbornness in me to say, no, I will not let it go. I will fight it to the end. Now, this fighting to the end is apparently what resilience is. And so, yeah, been there, done that. And then I would win through something and keep on fighting for something else, keep winning, keep fighting, keep winning, keep fighting. Till one day, Mani said to me, can you just stop working on this idea of victory? Can you just stop wanting victory in all your struggles and then wanting to feel victorious? Can you stop that? And I couldn't understand why victory makes me feel so good. And then victory is like, you've run after something for such a long time. Why would you not be happy about the victory? Why would you not promote the idea of victory? Why? And Mani said, because every time that you look at something of a victory, then on the other side, there is a loser too. But now in oneness, that you understand, you are the victorious one and you are the loser. On some days, you're victorious. On some days, you're the loser. And you don't want to sit on the losing side. And so, this getting back up, not accepting, admitting defeat, not accepting. Now, again, accepting defeat is not considered to be a nice thing. So we only want to be successful. We only want to accept victories. We do not want to accept our defeats. And here was Mani saying, no, no, on different days you are going to be different. So accept your victories and also accept your defeat. The idea just totally didn't appeal to me at that point in time. And so Mani said to me, this is what you are creating. This is what you are creating. More struggle, because you want to feel more victorious. And so for you to feel the victory in the true sense, you would have to win it, like win a battle. So there's got to be a battle. And only then can you win the battle. So guess who's creating all of these battles of struggle on the outside? This need of yours to be victorious, this need of yours to stand up again and again and to experience only the victory side of it. In the smaller places as well, in so many small things, even in arguments with family, children, friends, you know, um, we many of us are in that way, that no, we cannot lose. We cannot lose an argument. The last word has to be mine. The last word has to be mine. And you have to feel successful in that. And then what happens? Well, sometimes the last word is yours and sometimes it isn't. But in all times, in all of those, there is there is friction. There is constant friction. Why? Because you just won't be. You won't accept defeat. And you will constantly be looking at resilience, getting up after every argument and presenting yet another one because you simply want to win the argument. So in in bigger battles, but also day-to-day life, we are constantly looking at victory. And for that, we keep getting up from wherever we are, whichever place we're in, at work, at home, and we are being resilient. So, in the energy space, when we were looking at this need to win, it's a need. Need comes from lack. And the lack over here is what? The need is of validation. Validation through an external victory, validation through an outside world saying, they were, the last man standing, or there they were, that, with all of the challenges that they had in the world, they came out victorious. And outer validation of your value, of who you are. And so simply, the lack is of love, love to the self. That being the case, when we begin to look at resilience, again, shedding this lack, shedding this need to constantly win, which comes from lack of love, then also shedding the idea of struggle. The idea of struggle itself is the whole world, or large parts of it, is going to be against me, and I have to fight them to win. In this, when it's you against the world, you against the world, I speak of many times as to, is this program serving you, or is this program not serving you? It's you against the world. Again, very heroic. Many movies are all about this, that, you're fighting the enemy, and the enemy is much larger than you, and yet you manage to win. Very, very charming when you see it on the movies, and movies are constantly made on this idea. But when you look at it from the space of the energy, if it is you against the world constantly at all times, and you're feeling this, now you're not going to go fight battles, against aliens, but in your everyday scenario, if this is what you are feeling, that it is constantly you against the world, and you have to constantly protect yourself and make yourself heard, and you are not going to be heard if you stay quiet, and you have to be out there, and you cannot take no for an answer. You have to show your resilience. You have to be resilient. We're back to the same thing, right? Because what are we doing? Me against the world. In this, what am I? What program do I have? That the universe is so totally not playing on my side. That program is of lack. Again, the universe is not going to give me what I want, so I have to snatch it. I have to win it. I have to make it happen, because the universe will not give it to me. And if you operate from this space, then the lack of trust is where the lack is playing out. Lack of trust on the universe. So when you are looking at the world from such eyes of mistrust, then what is it that you are going to want to do? Once you look at the energy space, release the lack, release the mistrust, release the need again. So bring in self-love. And then, as we look at resilience some more, at the end of it all, when you look back at all the time that you have spent fighting and trying to get something, it's always, this is what Mani said, it is always going to happen that the next thing, the next war, the next battle will keep coming up, and you will keep finding something or the other to struggle about. We look at so many causes that we take up, causes. And we again look at people who are fighting for those causes, fighting against those causes in such a hero worship way. But all of the causes that are coming through are simply looking at the imperfections of the world, that this universe, this earth, is really imperfect. And I have to do so much, my share, to make it a little bit more inhabitable, livable, whatever it is. Because whatever is happening around is not the right thing. So, your idea of perfection, and then to fight for that idea of perfection. So now that we understand energy itself, your idea of perfection is based on a very limited logic of how the world should look. You have no understanding of energies and that everything is already for a purpose. You have a predefined idea of what a perfect house looks like, a perfect life looks like. These are a play of your expectations. And no matter how many expectations you have about what the universe should be like, what will happen? You will be able to see that the universe doesn't play as per expectations. The universe plays as per energy fields. And so your energy field is the only one that's playing in your universe. And as your universe plays on expectations of what this world should be, will it be like that? Absolutely not. And what will it create in you? It'll create in you some parts anger, some parts frustration, some parts agitation, and a whole lot of disappointment. A whole lot of disappointment. So, all of these, whichever parts you are feeling with why you have to fight the world and how you have to fight the world and how you have to stand up again and again, even though the world is pushing you down. Take a look at all of these and see which of these frequencies you are holding. So, might be a few of them, might be all of them, might be something else, but just giving you a peek into what the separation resilience looks like. And I call it the separation resilience because in separation, we experience the idea of a struggle. In separation, we experience struggle. And then now let's move to the energies. In energies, what would resilience look like from oneness? The first thing is the entire universe is playing in my favor. So who do I have to fight? Who do I have to fight? I don't have to fight anyone because each of them are simply me in other parts. Some days I'm the winner, and on other days I am the loser. I am both. And through that, through being the winner and the loser, playing both of those roles, through that, I am awesome. I'm awesome in every role. I'm the best, loser, and I'm the best winner. There is, I am awesome in both of those. Then is that program of awesomeness serving you when you keep serving that to yourself on a dish, saying, I am so awesome. What will the universe show you from the outside? A little bit more reflection of your awesomeness. So, yes, absolutely. Now, if some days you're the winner, some days you're the loser, you are really not identifying with the issue that is being fought about. The struggle becomes real when you have expectations and then you're attached to outcomes. But as you begin to look into the energies, the outcomes are let go and the expectations are being looked into rather than being run after. They are being looked into. And as you do that, what you're going to find is that, you will actually see that not in a day itself, 5 victories and 5 losses already happening. Something small, something big, something small, something big. It's already happening, and you're already sitting on both sides of the coin. The universe is playing in my favor. Now, here is where the idea of resilience in oneness truly takes shape. When I say the universe is playing in my favor, and something happens on the outside that shakes me up for a few moments, and I don't understand what to make of it because my energy has just created something which I was completely not looking into, had no idea of. What will happen if I am aware? I will experience that separation or whatever that struggle is for a few minutes. And then I will be resilient. I will be resilient to come back, to bring my needle back to this one thought. And what is the thought? The thought is the universe is playing in my favor. Even through this, I am taken care of. Both of these thoughts are aligned to each other. When the entire universe is playing in your favor, then of course you are always taken care of. So both of these are simply playing into each other. But can you see now also what are you doing? You are being resilient. You're being resilient, but you're not being resilient to a particular outcome that no, I must make a success of this. You are simply being resilient in bringing yourself back to an idea, to a program that serves you immensely. When you are sitting in this program that the entire universe is playing in my favor, when you trust the universe that much, when you have that kind of faith in the universe, what will the universe do? Well, as the universe always does, it throws back your very energy at you. And so, if you are sitting at this energy of trust and faith, then even when outside shifts, because we don't know what our energy field looks like, our energy field is suddenly going to exhibit some part, some story, some twist that we have no idea about. But when it happens, an initial reaction happens, but then when we keep that aside and we go back to becoming aware, might be in a day, might be a couple of days, might be a few weeks, and that's okay. But when we do look at everything in the energy way, the first thing that will come to us is this: does this program serve me well, that the universe has played against me? No. Does this program serve me well, that the entire universe is playing in my favor? Yes. So, how can I understand that this is indeed the universe playing in my favor? The universe has already shown you what all you're holding. And from that, you can now begin the work within. As you begin the work within, this is the best gift that the universe has given to you: eyes to look at every situation from the inside out. And so we come back to this resilient point that the universe is playing in my favor. Can you see the difference in those separation resilience? When you exhibit that, you're fighting against people. And over here, you are of this opinion that the entire universe is conspiring on your side. On your side. You don't have to fight. But when fight happens, you simply have to come back to this place of, I am taken care of. Be resilient about this rather than finding more causes on the outside to be fighting and then being resilient about and losing and not liking the idea of losing. Accept that on some days, losing, on some days, winning. That is the polarity. And it happens to the biggest of winners. Losing happens. And to the biggest of losers, winning happens. So, this concept of winning and losing is simply built into separation. And when we are able to see everything as just an experience, we are no longer attached to the idea of getting up. I was defeated today. That was the experience. I experienced it. Story over. Where is the point of getting up? That story, that experience is simply over. The universe will bring me something of my energy. So let me focus on changing my energy to bring it to joy. And so find something away from that struggle energy, find something into the joyful energy. When people ask me, like, but this is such a big part of my life. That's all right. I'm struggling at my work, and that's such a big part of my life. Yeah, that's okay. It takes you 8 hours over there. You can devote a couple of hours to something that you like to do and something that makes you happy. And that frequency will carry you much farther than you understand. Because the frequency of joy with awareness is going to take over and take you half the day already. And then if you can be aware, you can bring yourself to joy again and again, irrespective of what some aspect of your life is looking like. That aspect of your life is already happening because you tied into outcomes. You are too tied into outcomes. So take a look, let the outcomes go. Chats, any questions at this point in time? Anybody wants to ask? Anybody wants to speak? No? All good? Everybody understood everything. As with all the topics these days, as people understand. Okay, so one more aspect of this comes to explain, and it's associated again with victory. In all our stories of all the mythological stories and everything that we read, also the idea of winning and losing is brought up, so heavily. This segment was losing, and the asuras were winning, and then this had to be done, and all kinds of sam dam dand bhed is going to be done to go into victory so that one can achieve victory. So when victory is achieved, then everything is okay, and standing back for victory again and again is what we should strive for. So I'm just going to cover that, but I think I read something on chat. What would the thin line between resilience and stubbornness be? Look at it from the energy perspective, not in terms of where the line should be drawn. There is simply an experience of resilience wherein you have to where you have to get up and you have to get up and you have to get up. Irrespective of what's happening, you have to get up because you have to win. You have to win. You're very, very closely tied into winning. And this is where I was just going with all of these stories, whoever is the winner takes it all, right? And that is what we've been fed. But please understand, that is exactly right. That's exactly right. The winner takes it all. That's exactly right when you understand you're on Earth. Now, either you play on Earth as Earth frequencies, or now with awareness, you move towards a little bit of oneness. And what will it do? Will the winner take it all? That never happens, because then you begin to understand that whoever's the winner, they might take it all in one aspect and then they would have lost it all in some other aspect. So it's simply a point in time as to who you classify as the winner. And then winner takes it all. So when you read about Ramayana, and then, Ram was the winner, wasn't he? And then he was the winner of the entire battle, and Ravan was finished, and then Ram won the battle. And then he started to go home and then lost Sita somewhere along the way. And, that was a few years down, whatever. But so winning one moment and losing another moment, lost the children, didn't wasn't with his children. So was Ram the winner, or was he really the winner? It's all a definition of a point in time, and there is no real winner at any point in time. And that's what the whole point is. It's an experience. And when you begin to look at experiences of winning and losing, you'll find them everywhere in every story. We just take that moment and define it, and on that we build our life. Why? Because we came to earth to experience separation, and so we did. So we did. But now we can look at it differently if we wish. Why? Because now we've understood a little bit of energy. That's why we can look at things differently, look at them as just an experience, and let life smoothly glide instead of constantly going into this, oh, now I fell, now I got to stand up. Now I fell. Let me enjoy this fall in this moment itself. Let me simply enjoy what this feels like. Tomorrow we'll figure out what it's going to be, and not taking anything as personal. Really, that is what it is. When you take everything personally, then you're operating from the space of separation. Because who's the person? The person is that one little body, and everything else is happening with respect to that body. But when you take everything not so personally, the energy space is not personal. I have anger, you have anger. Everybody's playing in that space. Today, victory is making me feel maha proud. Okay, wonderful. Today is my experience of being proud. And tomorrow, with the fall, I'm going to experience shame. Okay, let me look into the shame. Let me experience shame fully. And then from that space, I can change it. I can change it back to joy. I can change everything to the frequency of joy. Once I understand, it's just an experience. your your question on stubbornness and resilience. When you look at the word stubbornness, is it a nice word? When you look at the word resilience, is that a nice word? So that's your judgment of resilience versus stubbornness. Why is stubbornness not okay? Or why is resilience not okay? Whatever it is, just your judgment. The entire past 20 minutes have been about it's just an experience. So take a look at when somebody calls you stubborn, what is it that you feel? And when somebody calls you resilient, what is it that you feel? So the the judgment belongs to you. The emotion that you feel in these two places belongs to you. If you're feeling mighty cut up when somebody calls you stubborn, then the work is on accepting your stubbornness. When you look at resilient, it's the same. It's you being stubborn, you refusing to die, you refusing to fall, or rather, after you've fallen, you refusing to stay there. Same thing. Where's the difference? But how you look at these two words is where the line is of your judgment of what is heroic and what is not. That's how we describe each of these words. Adjectives are all about judgments. And so when we use the words, these kind of adjectives, then you only have to look within to see what kind of emotions are those adjectives triggering in us. All right, so now moving from that space of separation a little bit into the energy of oneness, take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath in and exhale. I take energy from Meenal. I am Meenal. I am Meenal. And firstly, we go into a place wherever you might have felt that you lost. Wherever you felt that you lost the battle. At any place in your life, if you have felt defeated, Go into that space. Go back to that moment right now and hug yourself. There is you in the moment of now that is going back into that old space. And simply hug yourself. Ask, so what are you feeling with this defeat? Ask. You might be feeling rejection or sadness. There might be anger. There might be frustration, disappointment. There might be many such frequencies at play. Simply observe yourself, your younger self. And as they look at you and you are able to figure out the frequencies simply in that moment, a big hug to your younger self. A big hug to your younger self, explaining just one thing. This was the experience. That is it. It was one experience. We now have a choice whether to continue with this experience of defeat or right in this moment, just allow it to dissolve. Ask yourself, your younger self, what would you like to do? Allow it to dissolve or continue to experience defeat, rejection, anger, disappointment. What would you like to do? I am sure that most everyone's younger self is saying, I would like to dissolve it. Okay, then. One big hug to them to say, we complete this experience right now, this minute. We've experienced defeat, and that is fine. It is just an experience. Polarity on earth. And this was our experience of defeat. Hug yourself. Now look into the eyes of the younger one. Is the younger one smiling? If the younger one is not smiling, they haven't understood that this was just an experience. So repeat, this is simply an experience on earth. Earth plays on polarity. We have to play in these. That's what we came for. We came for it, we got it, and now it's over. It's finished. Dissolve. And smile and laugh and look at your younger one. And they'll be able to smile, I'm sure. And now, just simply hold their hand. Hold their hand. And the two of you are going to go to a place where you felt victorious. Whatever that place was, go to one such instance in your life where you felt so proud, so victorious, on top of the world with whatever you had accomplished, feeling so good about it. And as the two of you go into that event, look at you in that space. What are you feeling there? You're feeling so proud, so happy, so elated. Great then. Tell this other younger one, this too, just an experience. This too, just an experience. So see, we experience this and we experience that. And now the three of you, the winner self, the one that has come from the losing place, and the you of today who understands each of the experiences as just an experience. Just hug yourselves. Three of you in a big group hug. And the energy simply of joy. Through the victory, joy. And now, through the defeat also, simply joy. It was just an experience. Changing the energies from the moments of victories and defeats and bringing them to pure joy. Not attached to the outcome, just simply joy of the experience. Integrate all the three. Integrate, come back here in the now. Okay, everyone. Lots and lots of love to all of you. Bye, everybody. See you guys.
Thank you, ma'am.